Hello, this is Ryan Hewells, the principal of Oregon Elementary School. I appreciate the opportunity to provide an update as we approach the end of the first semester of the 2024-25 school year. We start every communication with our staff and all staff meetings with the opportunity to celebrate the successes we are having, so I'll do the same with this update. At the beginning of November, the Illinois School Report Card was released. Although we receive our preliminary data for the Illinois Assessment of Readiness in May, we are unable to measure our progress compared to other schools until the information is publicly available in November. While we have made strides in both ELA and math, we are especially proud of the fact that on the IAR ELA assessment, in which our 3rd through 6th graders take, the students at OES perform better than all other students in Ogle County. Our staff has been diligent in the efforts to collaboratively work together to improve outcomes each year, and this is a testament to that work. As you dive deeper into the data and compare our proficiency levels from year to year, you will see that our ELA proficiency levels are the highest they have ever been and have doubled since the pandemic. At a time when others in the field of education are concerned about lingering effects from the pandemic and interruptions to learning, it is remarkable that our students have bounced back in a way in which they have. In math, you will see a similar progress since the pandemic, albeit our proficiency levels are not quite where we would like them to be, especially at the 5th and 6th grade level. I will discuss in greater detail specific things we are going to do to improve our outcomes for students in both ELA and math later in this presentation. One last celebration that I was recently made aware of was that for the very first time, Oregon Elementary School was recognized as one of U.S. News & World Report's best public elementary schools. This publication compares schools across the nation using publicly available data, such as what is found on the Illinois Report Card, and puts OES amongst the top 25% of all schools in the nation. As a leadership team, we have embraced the vision of creating a school district in which performance elicits pride. And this recognition is important from the standpoint that our school is performing at a level that is among the very best in the country, which is definitely something to be proud of. At our very staff meeting 2 years ago when our new leadership team took hold, we talked at length about becoming one of the very best elementary schools in the area by multiple metrics, whether it's this, an exemplary school on the Illinois School Report Card, or national blue ribbon status. Although we have not arrived, this recognition is a testament to the hard work and dedication our staff continues to show on a daily basis. I also wanted to use this opportunity to provide an update on our school improvement goals and the progress or action steps we are taking to make each one a reality. Our 2 performance goals are centered around improving student learning outcomes in both ELA and math. Our goal percentages would represent a 5% increase from last year. The recently released school report card data aligns perfectly with our school improvement goals and the opportunities for growth that present itself as we continue to pursue excellence in all that we do. An exemplary school is one that is ranked among the top 10% of all schools in the state. And looking at our data, ELA and math growth are our 2 biggest levers or opportunities for improvement. As a reminder, growth on the IAR assessment is comparing a student's performance from year to year with students of a similar ability level. In the area of math, there are a number of things we are doing to improve student outcomes. We have seen improvement in proficiency levels at the 3rd and 4th grade level, with some improvement at the 5th grade level in recent years. We are continuing to work with all math teachers to improve math instruction and ensure we are using high leverage instructional strategies aligned to research. Only since the start of last year have we had staff using the same curricular resources. Additionally, in October of this year, we took time to meet with a team of teachers to identify potential gaps in the alignment of our standards. This will be an ongoing process that will lead to maximizing instructional time on the standards that ISB has deemed most important or a priority, ensuring that our staff also has the resources to do that effectively. Multiple Wednesday early dismissals each month are dedicated time for our teachers to meet as a team or a department to review student learning data or outcomes and make instructional adjustments as needed. We are appreciative of the board's continued commitment to providing this consistent, uninterrupted time for our staff to collaborate. With an eye on the 25-26 school year and master scheduling, we're continuing to look at ways to more have more effective solutions to interventions and how we intervene when a student needs extra support. This includes using research-based methods to properly identify students for intervention, in addition to taking time for reflection and making instructional adjustments at the Tier 1 or whole group level that need to be made. We are also working with the district leadership team to develop a clearly defined policy as it relates to acceleration. Currently, there is no set criteria to determine how we are identifying students that would be eligible for advancement to the next grade level for a more appropriate challenge. We hope to have this process finalized by the end of this year to be able to communicate with families in a timely fashion and have plans and schedules in place for the start of the 25-26 school year. In the area of ELA, we are in the midst of a resource review process and potential adoption of new curricular resources. The reason we are tackling ELA first in this review process is a number of reasons. First and foremost, 18 of our staff are in the middle of letters training, which, as previously mentioned, is language essentials for teaching, reading, and spelling. This is the gold standard of training in the area of science of reading, which would put our staff in position to most effectively instruct early literacy. This is a 2-year process that is the equivalent of taking 4 college grad courses. We've also continued the standards alignment work that was previously discussed in the area of ELA, and we are also ensuring our intervention processes are correctly identifying students using multiple data points to ensure we are targeting the students most in need for reading intervention. And last but not least, we recently received notification that we received additional funding from the state as part of our Preschool for All program. We are currently in a preschool desert, which means we currently do not offer enough seats as our community needs as far as appropriate levels of pre-K instruction. We currently have 25 students on our wait list with no room in our program. The addition of a 4th teacher will allow us to potentially offer pre-K services to 40 additional students. Research states that children who attend a high-quality preschool program are more likely to have positive outcomes in school later on and will be more ready for kindergarten when they reach that time. As we look to identify potential school improvement goals around culture, we created a goal around the idea of collective teacher efficacy. Collective teacher efficacy is the shared belief that a group of teachers can positively impact student learning. Research has shown that this is the single greatest thing a teacher can do to improve student learning outcomes. To create a goal, we use some survey data from multiple points of the year to measure our progress. At the beginning of the year, only 75% of our staff believe we set high standards and demand high-quality work of our students. During our most recent check-in, that number has increased to 84%, but is still short of our year-long goal of 90% or higher. Some specific things we have done to enhance our practices in this area include a specific focus on the research behind collective efficacy throughout the year. It has been a recurring theme of activities at staff meetings, with staff sharing high-leverage instructional strategies. One thing I have routinely asked staff and teams to reflect on is what adult behavior is changing as a result of the information we have before us, in addition to sharing what great things they are doing that challenge our students to rise to high expectations. The curriculum resource review and standards alignment work previously discussed also falls in line with this work, as we want to ensure the materials and lessons we are providing our students are rigorous and put them in the best position to be successful. To go into greater detail about the resource adoption process, I will review the steps we have taken thus far and upcoming action steps currently ongoing. We surveyed our staff at the beginning of the year to identify the most pressing needs, which overwhelmingly stated that ELA and reading resources were needed both at the core instructional level and the intervention level. We have now formed a team of teachers that is representative of each grade level that has begun vetting potential vendors. At the start of the new year, we will meet with 3 to 5 of those vendors to hear presentations to help us make more informed decisions. Teachers will take that information back to their respective teams for feedback for all staff before we potentially make a recommendation to the board for approval in March or April. Our plan is to begin implementation of any new resources in August of 2025. Our systems goal is by the end of the 2024-25 school year, OES will increase the amount of time students remain in the classroom by reducing the need for exclusionary discipline such as time in the office, in-school suspension, or out-of-school suspensions by 10%. Currently, we are at a 14% reduction, which means we are exceeding or meeting our goal. Some specific action steps we have taken to make this goal a reality are as follows. First and foremost, the addition to a third administrator to the OES team has been a godsend and a blessing, so I want to thank the board again for that. Mr. Cozy and Mrs. Webb have worked to develop a behavior matrix that has streamlined our response to student discipline issues. They have done a great job empowering teachers to address lower-level misconduct while also having a clearly defined approach and response that is consistent in addressing major disciplinary issues. Additionally, our feedback to staff and informal observations in the first quarter was entirely focused on classroom routines and procedures and classroom management, which allowed us to highlight successful strategies that are taking place in the building and provide support where needed to individual staff. Mr. Cozy and Mrs. Webb update our staff each month at our staff meeting with strategies and tools they can use to best support classroom management. We also implemented a SEL check-in system to allow students access to mental health support as a preventative measure before attempting to intervene from a disciplinary manner. Lastly, we have added a paraprofessional who will help facilitate in-school suspensions when needed. This will be centered around activities that provide direct instruction to help teach skills to students that they may not have or may not be exhibiting in the school setting. Students will also have individualized support for classwork they are missing under the guidance of the in-school suspension supervisor. This will free up our administrative team to continue to be as responsive as possible to staff or student needs. Here's a chart detailing our progress, comparing the total number of discipline referrals versus compared to consequences resulting in missed instruction or classroom time, such as time in office, in-school suspension, and or out-of-school suspension. And lastly, I wanted to end the presentation with why we do what we do each day. With some images of our students and some of the unique things kind of going on throughout the building. My favorite thing to do in my role is to celebrate our staff and students while creating memorable experiences for them. So whether it's a Leader of the Month award, quarterly awards, celebrating academic achievement, or just creating opportunities for our students to engage with others in a meaningful way, I don't want us to lose sight of why we do what we do. And that's the opportunity to positively impact our students in an amazing community such as ours. It's truly great to be an Oregon Hawk.